Welcome, viewers, to Bodhi Unified Flow. Here, we simplify complexity and amplify performance. Just think about how much time you spent today literally just looking for the right tool, hunting down a specific file, or waiting on some delayed process. It really adds up, doesn't it? Well, I am absolutely thrilled to dive into today's explainer on the 5S methodology. We're going to explore exactly how sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain connect directly to Kaizen and continuous improvement. And, more importantly, how you can guarantee long-term 5S success in your own workspace. Okay, let's quickly look at our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 1. Foundations of stability and flow. 2. The 5S pillars explained. 3. Kaizen, the improvement connection. 4. Advanced tools and proven benefits. 5. Habits for long-term success. And finally, 6. Our summary and key references. Before we really get into the weeds, here's exactly what you're going to get out of this session. You'll walk away grasping the true origins of 5S and the elimination of Muda. You'll master how to implement the 5 sequential pillars. You'll be able to totally connect 5S to continuous improvement. And, crucially, you'll discover the leadership habits needed to make sure these changes actually stick around for the long haul. All right, Section 1, Foundations of Stability and Flow, Addressing Systemic Chaos. To kick things off, we really have to start with the baseline, the why, by looking at how the Toyota production system addressed the absolute foundational need for stability.
So the whole point here is getting rid of Muda. Now, 5S was originally developed in the 1950s as this core piece of the Toyota production system, and it recognized a really fundamental truth. Meaningful improvement is practically impossible if you don't remove waste first. If an activity consumes resources but doesn't add value, actually, scratch that. If it consumes resources without adding value specifically to the customer, like walking a mile across a factory floor just to grab a wrench or digging through hundreds of messy emails, it's Muda. And it's gotta go.
We're dealing with 7 classic wastes here: overproduction, waiting, unnecessary transport, overprocessing, excess inventory, wasted motion, and defects. And you know what? These are basically hiding in plain sight in our workspaces every single day, just quietly eating away at our efficiency. 5S isn't some glorified spring cleaning exercise. It's a super-structured, rigorous framework designed specifically to crush these exact wastes. Moving right along to Section 2, the 5S Pillars Explained, a framework for visual control. Now that we've nailed down the why, let's break down the how with these 5 massive pillars. This system brilliantly maps those original Japanese concepts directly to highly practical, everyday actions. So Seri becomes sort, or red tagging and tossing out the junk. Seitan becomes set in order, creating dedicated homes for things, right? Think shadow boards. Seiso is shine, which is way more than just sweeping. It's actively catching issues with defect tags. Seiketsu is standardize, driven by visual SOPs. And finally, Shitsuke is sustain, kept alive by tools like daily huddle boards. Now here's the kicker, and it's absolutely crucial. These steps are completely sequential. You literally can't set in order if you haven't first sorted through the mess to ruthlessly eliminate what you don't need. Make sense? Once you're sorted, you arrange what's left for optimal access. Then you clean, again, to inspect for defects. After that, you lock it in with standard visual cues, and lastly, you cultivate the self-discipline to keep the whole machine running smoothly. In the real world, this methodology can be shockingly simple. We're talking about using everyday painter's tape to outline exactly where your tape dispenser lives on your desk, or setting up a dedicated inbox tray. It sounds basic, but these tiny, low-tech interventions instantly stop chaos in its tracks. Because when you remove that physical clutter, you're simultaneously stripping away mental barriers, freeing up your brain for the actual value-adding work. It's a total game changer. All right, Section 3, Kaizen, the improvement connection, moving to a state of flow. So, once our workspace is locked in and stable, we can pivot to how 5S actually sets the stage for continuous improvement. Kaizen translates so beautifully to change for the better. It heavily relies on the plan, do, check, act cycle to smooth out process bumps. But the real secret sauce of Kaizen? It absolutely thrives on small, incremental improvements from everyone on the floor. No huge, radical, top-down directives here. Just constant, manageable, bottom-up evolution. This dynamic builds an incredibly powerful foundation. Just think about the sheer contrast here. In a messy environment, clutter acts like camouflage, hiding all your root process problems. But in a 5S stabilized environment, abnormalities are completely self-revealing. If a specific tool is missing from a shadow board, boom, You know instantly. You're not wasting 10 minutes looking for it. That immediate visibility is exactly what makes scientific problem solving, stuff like the 5 whys, actually work in practice. Moving into Section 4, Advanced Tools and Proven Benefits, Amplifying Performance. Because honestly, 5S is almost never implemented in a vacuum, let's explore the advanced methodologies it unlocks and the hard data that proves its worth. Think of 5S like the prerequisite operating system for your whole lean journey. The shine pillar, that's the critical first step for total productive maintenance. Just-in-time manufacturing absolutely demands the precise organization that 5S delivers. And Six Sigma relies totally on 5S to reduce the baseline environmental variation that causes defects in the first place. Long story short, without a 5S baseline, these advanced tools will just flat out fail to run. And when we talk about return on investment, the numbers are just staggering. For example, in sheet metal operations, processing time has been shown to drop by a massive 62.5%. Just wrap your head around that. That huge time saving didn't come from buying some $1 million piece of equipment. It's simply the result of organizing the workflow, standardizing everything, and killing off the hidden wastes of motion and searching. Even at an individual desk level, the compounding effect is wild. By saving a mere 5 minutes a day, just 5 minutes you'd normally waste looking for a stapler or a file folder, that cascades into 21 hours of recovered productivity per year per employee. It completely proves that small, standardized habits yield massive long-term gains. Let's look at Section 5, Habits for Long-Term Success. The human element. We've built the system, we've seen the data. But this forever phase, that depends entirely on human behavior and leadership. To really sustain 5S over years, not just a couple of weeks, management has to ditch the old mindset. You have to move away from traditional auditing, walking around with a clipboard just checking boxes for basic compliance. Instead, you've got to build a proactive coaching culture. You use 5S as this everyday vehicle to actively engage your team in continuous collaborative problem solving. Habit formation is deeply psychological, right? It takes time to rewire a culture. So leaders have to leverage tools to sustain Shitsuke or self-discipline. We're talking transparent audit scorecards, peer recognition to celebrate the small wins, and most importantly, active Gemba walks. A Gemba walk means literally getting out of your office, going to the actual place of work, and observing and supporting your team firsthand. And finally, Section 6, Summary and Key References. Wrapping up our explainer, let's pull all these threads together and review what we've unpacked today. So, to sum it all up, 5S is so much more than just a quick cleanup. It's the foundational framework that completely eliminates muda and stabilizes your workflow. Through its 5 rigorous sequential pillars, it creates the visual baseline that actually makes Kaizen possible. It delivers highly measurable ROI in time and safety, and for sure, it absolutely demands dedicated leadership coaching to keep it alive. Looking back at where we started, we've totally hit our learning objectives today. You now intimately understand the origins and the concept of muda. You've mastered the logic of the 5 pillars, you can clearly link a sorted workspace to continuous improvement, and you've got the leadership tactics for real long-term sustainment. I really want to leave you with a question to challenge how you look at your daily environment from now on. When you look at your desk, your digital drives, or your shop floor tomorrow morning, are you just cleaning your workspace, or are you engineering a culture of self-revealing excellence? Keep that distinction in the back of your mind as you move forward. And for those of you who really want to geek out on this and engineer that culture of excellence, here are the specific references cited in today's explainer. From the EPA's insights to advanced manufacturing guides, feel free to dive into the literature. Thank you so much for learning with Bodhi Unified Flow, and best of luck on your continuous improvement journey.